Hello, Canucks fans, and welcome back to a very special edition of the Canucks Conversation podcast, live streaming live on YouTube. It is Monday at 4:45. My name's David Quadrelli. I'm joined as always by the man who built the place, Chris Faber. Our technical producer is Alex Allard. Intern Emil is behind the scenes, clipping the show as always. My co-host, my friend, has his ice out big time, and I came to play as well, folks. I got my bow tie and I've got my chain as well. Promo code hockey season is the one. The Canucks Conversation podcast is proudly presented to you by the great folks at Zephyr Epic. You can use promo code hockey season, capital H, capital S, all one word, hockey season. That will get you $5 off your order at zephyrepic.com. They also have a retail location in Surrey, so be sure to go check them out at that retail location or online, as I said, at zephyrepic.com. Free shipping Canada-wide on any order over $50. They've got you covered for all of your trading card needs. Let's go. It's Draft Lottery Day. 15 minutes away from the live stream actually starting. We're here early, though. We're here to break things down early. Chris, anything you want to say to the fine folks on YouTube?
I'm sweating right off the bat. I've been moving too much. I got too much metal on me. It's weighing me down, but I'm here. God, man, we haven't spent much time on the show talking about it. Can we just, for 12 or 6 minutes here, let's just talk about if the Vancouver Canucks win this draft lottery and can select Connor Bedard, what it means. Lots of people in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. See Steve, DM Payne, Jesse, Corey, everybody in here is looking good. I'm sure everyone's got their chain on. You do as well. You look fine too, Quads. You look, I don't know what that is. What kind of, never mind. All right. The Canucks. Connor Bedard, the local kid. This is the biggest story of the offseason if it happens, right? There's nothing that can come close to it. I don't care if Seattle wins the cup, okay? Seattle winning the cup, listen, that's a one-year thing, okay? Or whoever wins the cup this year, that's a one-year thing. The Canucks landing the local kid for the next 10 to 15, 20 years. Heck, you can probably play till he's 55. He's that good, Connor Bedard. That's the biggest story of the offseason. It's the biggest story. It is the most wildest thing. We're looking at a 3% chance. Alex is saying there's a chance. Alex is a Ottawa Senators fan, our producer, Alex. I don't know if you've mentioned him off the top, but he knows how tough it is, how tough the draft lottery is, of course. But with 3% odds, I don't even care. I know that there's a 97% chance the Canucks don't get the first overall pick and get to draft Connor Bedard, but I don't care. I'm just here to be excited. I'm here for the reaction. I'm stoked that there is a lot of people here in the YouTube chat as well. Positive vibes, everybody. No negative vibes anywhere in this chat. We're about 11 minutes away from kicking things off. Why don't you break this down, Quads? You're a numbers guy. Actually, you're not a numbers guy. For people who don't know, Quads on the golf course, he can't add up his numbers. He uses his calculator. He asks Siri, "Hey Siri, what's 3 plus 4 plus 6 plus 5?" You can't even add those things. I can't believe it.
I'll tell you what, I went to the golf course this past weekend. Everything was a par. I shot 5 bogeys on the day. It was the pitch and putt, sure. But I only shot 5 bogeys, so that was really easy to do. I add 5 to the par for the course. Anyways, let's go here. Canucks draft lottery odds. Chris, you mentioned it. 3% chance at Connor Bedard, which means 97% chance at somebody not named Connor Bedard. 3% odds at first, 3.2% at second. A lot of people were wondering why the Canucks had any chance, because I wrote about this over at CanucksArmy.com. I wrote about the 0.1% chance. A few things have to happen there, but we'll get to that. It's probably not going to happen the third overall pick. 10th overall. They are not eligible for that pick. The 11th overall pick is probably where they're going to land with a 79.9% chance, 13.4% that they pick 12th, and 0.5% less than Bedard and Fantilli that they will pick 13th overall. So very unlikely that we see them pick 13th. But that would sure be something if when Bill Daly flashes the cards that we see the 13th overall pick. We'll know shortly. That's the thing that I want to remind everybody about. We'll know quickly into the show if the Canucks have won the draft lottery. That's the fun thing about where the Canucks are, at least, is if it gets to 11 and the Canucks card isn't flipped, they've won the draft lottery in some capacity. They've either won the first overall pick or they've won the second overall pick, because of course by then you would know if Ottawa had moved up. It would need to be Ottawa and Buffalo, I think, moving up in order for the Canucks to land third overall. But even then, there's more to it than that. I can't remember which teams it is, but we'll know. We'll be here to break it down for you. Want to mention, get a live stream yourselves, folks. Like if you got it on a TV, if you got it on a bar, wherever you are, put us on right beside it. We're your companions for the show. We're going to be watching it as well. It's
you don't need it.
Live reaction.
You don't need it. We'll talk you through it. We're going to walk our way through. We didn't do this. Is basically an all Quadrelli episode because there was not a lot of prep done for this show. There is no outline for the show today. I did make some cool graphics, and then we'll get to a few of them actually on our way through here. But we got about 8 minutes here until they start revealing things, and we're just going to follow along. I know they might be a little bit weird because it'll be funny. I think the stream with YouTube somehow kind of puts us like 30 seconds behind anyways. So if you want, just follow with us. We're going to keep you posted. We're going to let you know about what happens with every spot. But here's the big thing. To me, it's when that number 12 gets flipped. Just no Canucks, man. Don't let it be the Canucks. Because if they're not dropping, they're going up. That's what I think. I forget the 80% odds of them picking 11th. If they're not dropping, they're going up. They're going up. This is the year. I'm going to go nuts. I'm going to go nuts if this happens. So I don't care. We've kind of like, bottled our emotion a little bit up to this point. This is it. We're going to let it all out. If the Canucks land Connor Bedard, it changes. For Canucks fans and everybody here in the chat that's like taking time out of their day to come watch a draft lottery live on YouTube, I'm sure it makes their life a lot better, right? Like it makes their life a lot better. You get to have Connor Bedard, the local kid here. For us, this is our job. This literally changes everything in our life if they were to land Connor Bedard. So I'm damn excited about it. Canucks Nation should be damn excited about it. But still, it's just a 3% chance. But no negativity in here. We're rolling with it. We do want to spend a little bit of time, since we have 5, 6, 7 minutes here. Why don't we get the draft rankings up? I've circled some names. Quads, why don't you pick a name that you want to talk about, or you want me to talk about, whatever you want. I know you haven't spent a ton of time watching, all these prospects, but I know you got a decent grasp on everything. Pick a player on there that you want to mention. So the Canucks, you mentioned it, the spots they can land, 1, 2, or 3, I guess. I don't know how the 3 thing works. Do you know how that works? You can explain that to me. I just learned that like 2 days ago that they can pick third. I don't know how it works. Where's the 0.1%? Is it if a meteor hits the building while they're doing the dailies flipping them over? Anyways, they're likely to pick in the 11, 12, 13-ish range. And this ranking that we have up right here is from Elite Prospects. So let's start with whatever name you want here, Quads. Where do you want to go where the Canucks could end up picking?
Okay, let's go. Just we've talked a lot about Bedard, and we'll continue to talk about Bedard. You asked me a question that I didn't really answer, but we'll talk about it as the show starts, because we know they like to slow burn this, right? So it's going to be a while before we find out where the Canucks are picking. But Adam Fantilli, I want to ask you about him, and more specifically, Chris, I want to ask you if there's any doubt in your mind that if the Canucks got the second overall pick, that they would not take Adam Fantilli and instead opt for Leo Carlsson from the SHL.
Yeah, I think there's at least like 2 months ago, there definitely was a conversation for it. It feels like Fantilli kind of pulled himself away from the pack. You can see up here on the screen right now, he had 65 points in 36 games. And listen, that was a really good Michigan team, but it's not like anybody on Michigan was really putting up as many points as Fantilli. He was really driving play. The only thing that I think might set your sights a little bit more on Carlsson is, well, the Swedish factor. That's always going to be there for the Vancouver Canucks is what it feels like. But at the same time, Carlsson feels more like a center. You're feeling very confident about him being a center. With Fantilli, I know there's been a little bit of questions about him, but you like the size, you like the ability to at least be center when he's young. So, I think he's a guy that projects to be a center at this level. You want him to anyways. That's what the development team is going to work with. I don't think there's much of a question. I really don't. I don't think Michkov is in the conversation anymore, really in the top 3. I think he's kind of the next level, and that's just because listen, he's uber talented, but he's not coming until 2026. So not really sure exactly if he's even in that conversation much anymore. So I do think it's between Carlsson and Fantilli, but it feels like Fantilli's pulled himself away from the pack. But hey, go back to last year's draft, right? What happened there? Slavkovsky ends up going number 1 overall. This is a wild mix. I don't think we're going to see anything like that. We're not going to see anything like that, but we could go into this and players will have, players will have their conversations with the organization. Maybe something comes out there, or maybe there's been some real deep scouting that you're doing, because you're not just scouting the play on the ice, you're scouting the person, right? Especially when you have a pick that high, you are doing everything in your power to check out what this player is, what he projects to in the future, how he's like as a person. So we'll have to see. I wouldn't be, I would be shocked. Yeah, I would. I'd be shocked if it wasn't Fantilli number 2. There's a lot of time from now until the draft, so I'd say right now you're for sure sitting Fantilli at number 2 and Leo Carlsson sitting in at number 3. But hey, Vancouver likes their Swedes, right? And Leo Carlsson played with Elias Pettersson, DPD over there at Orebro this season, so I'm sure the Canucks have had a lot of opportunity to watch him. You know what I'm like, Quads. When I watch a guy a ton and I really like what I'm seeing, it's almost just like it's like an addiction, right? You watch him, you keep watching him, you keep getting excited about him. Maybe the Canucks had a similar thing with Leo Carlsson, so I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. Both very solid players. Like any other year, Adam Fantilli is a number 1. And then any other year after that, Leo Carlsson feels like a number 1. You're getting a very good player in the top 3 of this draft. So if the Canucks end up winning this draft lottery at any point, 1, 2, or 3, you're laughing. It's a player that's going to change your franchise. Any of these 3 players at the top, obviously Connor Bedard at the next level, but we'll have to see what happens here. Just a couple of minutes away. Let's talk about 11 then. Who do you like the most at 11? I think you know my answer, and people who listen to the show often know it's David Reinbacher. He's my guy, the right shot defenseman, very much like him. I don't know if he's going to be available at 11. That's the real question. But any other name that you think around the 11 spot that would be kind of interesting for the Canucks to grab?
Quentin Musty. That's a very interesting name. I know absolutely nothing about the player, but Quentin Musty, the left winger out of the Sudbury Wolves system in the OHL. That is an interesting name, certainly. But I like David Reinbacher as well, and it's mostly because of my conversations with you. And I asked you about Axel Sandin Pellikka when I was writing my most recent article for Canucks Army, aside from the thing about the Canucks fine. But we're not talking about that. Positive vibes only. David Reinbacher, right-handed defenseman, as is Axel Sandin Pellikka, right-handed defenseman who can, to me, this is the more important thing, can jump right into Abbotsford right away and get in that development system, and has a spot on that right side of the blue line. In our past conversations, you've said this on our main show, can play with Quinn Hughes probably by the end of next season, and that's a big deal to me. Like that's a really big deal when you're assessing talent and everything. My question to you, Chris, is: look, we both like Reinbacher at 11. Alex, pull those rankings back up. The best player available versus drafting for position is an interesting debate here, because a lot of draft boards get very different near 12, and I honestly don't know how much it really matters when you get to best player available. But I want to ask you this scenario, Chris. If we see a Matvei Michkov or an Oliver Moore available at 11, do you go out and get that player instead of Reinbacher, or do you stick to your guns and go for, like, where on this list that we're looking at, YouTube live show, that we're looking at here, where is the cutoff of, okay, if that guy slips, I'm not changing my mind on Reinbacher, I'm going for someone else at 11?
Yeah, I do think it's Michkov, right? But I don't know. I've heard the Canucks wouldn't take Michkov if the situation were to present itself because of the years. So we'll have to see what happens with that. I do think that Reinbacher is the one there, but I think if you're looking at a player that could drop, like probably one of those United States national team guys, right? Like Oliver Moore is interesting. Will Smith is also an interesting one. I just don't know where those players are going to end up falling to, right? So it'll be interesting to see what happens here moving forward with those guys in that situation. And we're hitting 5 o'clock now. So welcome to everybody. If you're jumping on right now, we're going to pull up the stream. We're going to react to what's going on here. The draft lottery is live. So we'll have to just we'll get the post it in here. And let's get this live reaction going, because you mentioned it. It's going to be fast and furious, right? It's going to be very quick to see what happens if the Vancouver Canucks are moving. I'm almost struggling here with the Abbotsford. We spent so much time talking about the Abbotsford Canucks lately. It's going to be weird to get back to talking about the Vancouver Canucks. We'll go over the odds one more time, Quads. Let's go. We'll get the odds up here one more time before we dive into a little bit more of some of the prospects. Vancouver with a 3% chance of winning this draft lottery and moving up to first overall. I tell you what, this damn Sportsnet app, how long have I been saying? And Alex's first swing at the at Tankathon today. First place.
You take your time there. You pull it up. You
I'm
take
good.
your time. Get your stream going. I just wanted to mention quickly. highest number of viewers at one time on a Canucks Conversation live stream right now. So if you're new to the show, we are here every day, Monday through Friday, during the season. During the off season, we're here twice a week. And yes, we do always dress like this. So if you're new here, that is what you can expect. The live show right now, the draft lottery has begun, the broadcast on Sportsnet. And right now, as you might have guessed, Chris, they're showing a montage of Connor Bedard, and you're seeing McDavid in there now talking about
Let's
Bedard.
compare
And
it
the
then.
one thing about Bedard,
Yeah, if we
yeah,
have it,
the one thing
Alex,
about
pull it
Bedard,
up.
the one thing about Bedard that I want to talk about is McDavid has been asked for his thoughts on him at multiple times as we get a quick look at the stats there between these two guys and their CHL stats in their draft year. Connor McDavid talked about being at a BioSteel camp with Bedard, and he said he looked off Crosby on a 2-on-1 to take a shot, and that was the difference that McDavid really pointed out. Was he said, yeah, I probably wasn't as confident at his age, and as you see the numbers there, 71 goals through 57 games played in his draft year, 72 assists, 143 points overall for Connor Bedard, playing on a not very great Regina Pats team in the WHL. Connor McDavid, 47 games played, 44 goals and 76 assists, good for 120 points in the 2014-15 season. So in conclusion, Canucks are getting this kid, and he is better than Connor McDavid.
Yeah, that's simple math, right? Yeah, aside from McDavid having the injury in his draft year as well. But listen, yeah, if this kid lands in Vancouver, he's going to change franchise. Whoever he goes to will change the franchise. Can we get the draft lottery simulator back up one more time here, Alex? Because I want to get your thoughts. What's the worst spot? What's the worst team to win number one? I feel like everybody's kind of on the same page here. It's Chicago, right? Everybody in the YouTube chat, it's Chicago. What's the worst team possible for Connor Bedard to go to? I think it's Chicago. I think Chicago's worse than Arizona. I think that's a worse spot for him to land if he ends up going to Chicago.
Well, I think you want to see that organization for various reasons feel a little more pain than they felt, right? Like you can't go have your dynasty team and then as soon as it ends, you just traded Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews isn't going to be re-signed. As soon as it ends, you go get a franchise player? No, I don't think so. That's not fair. Chicago needs a lot more pain than what they would be getting if they moved up in the lottery and got Connor Bedard. I will present another team to you, Chris, for worst team. The Washington Capitals or the Detroit Red Wings. Now, listen, this is from a Canucks perspective because those teams, if the Canucks, remember, that's what it came down to on like the final day of the season. Oh, my bow tie came undone. The final day of the season, Chris, that's what it ultimately came down to, was those three teams getting past the Canucks in the draft lottery standings, right? And the Canucks had a chance to be in that position. So the reason I say it's bad, there's bad landing spots. It's not so much about the teams. It's more about, okay, well, the Canucks could have very easily been in that spot. And I know there's going to be a lot of people out there saying, well, if the Canucks were in that spot, they wouldn't have gotten it anyway. But I will present those two as well, because if those two happen, we will never hear the end of that Canucks late season push that cost them precious spots in the draft lottery rankings.
Yeah, I think I like Michkov to Washington. I think that makes a lot of sense. Hey, listen, you're at the tail end of seeing Alex Ovechkin go out. He'll probably be gone, I guess, by the time that Michkov gets there. So I like that one for Washington, and I think that's a fair one, right? Let them wait a couple years for that prospect. Even though he's going to be very good, they're going to have to wait a couple years for that Michkov kid to come down here. I don't like them for Bedard either. We'll have to see what happens. And this is starting now. We see some lottery balls are spinning around. Here we go. The draft lottery is coming up after we see 4 betting commercials and a commercial about insurance over there on our friends at Sportsnet, our former spot that you and I used to stomp around at. So positive vibes time. This is the time now. Everybody in the chat, lots of positivity. Blow up the chat, like the video or something. I don't know. Do some of those things. Grab whatever you have. What's your go-to good luck charm, because it's coming around the corner right now. The draft lottery is happening. We're heading into a commercial break at this point, but we'll be just around the corner. And I feel like we're going to have somebody tweeting like crazy about it, whether it be Friedman or Frank, our buddy there. And we won't even spend time on what Frank reported today about $50,000. We'll touch on that on a later show. Today's all about the draft lottery, okay? And then we'll get our reactions to it, of course. Just great to see everybody along in the chat here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in a spot like I'm calm now. I've calmed down a little bit. I had a lot of stuff to spew off in the first 10 minutes of this. Bring Connor home, I see in the chat. Some snapping fingers going on. Mr. Ho Travel says, let's get Bedard. Trud says it's embarrassing for the NHL with the idiotic betting commercials. Yeah, got to pay the bills. So, couple minutes away here from getting this draft lottery going. And finally, let's do it one last time because I think we're about to see 3% chance. I think people are aware of it. We don't need to do it one more time. 3.2% chance they get second. And hey, listen, winning the draft lottery either way is huge for the Canucks. They really, really need a guy to play center for them. And if they can get a player at first or second, whether it be Fantilli or Bedard, you're so happy with either player. So let's just see them win. There's a 6% chance that they win. And yes, I did buy a new chain for this episode.
Alex, can we get the tank video? Regular commenter Jesse in the YouTube live chat is wondering if we can pull up the tank video. And for those that aren't regulars here, at the end of every episode, our producer, Alex Allard, pulls up the tank video. And I guess you'll see it for yourself, what the tank video is. I think we got to pull out all the stops here, Alex.
Oh, yeah. We love a good tank video. Worked really hard on this. Is the vibes we need. Good vibes. Even though the Canucks didn't tank very well for it, these are the vibes we want. Ride that thing to the wave here. Oh, it looks good. All right. Coming back from commercial break right now. I'm sure we're about to get everybody's notification from Elliot Friedman probably saying who has moved up, who hasn't. For the record, the Vancouver Canucks, of teams that are eligible to move up to number one, they have the worst % chance of doing it. But listen, we've all run the tankathon a million times. We've all seen it happen. It is possible for this to happen. Alex ran it today, one go. Vancouver to number one. So hopefully you didn't just jump in the chat when I just said that. That's horrible timing. But appreciate everyone in the chat. Let's go. Positive vibes. Last few seconds here. Otherwise, or maybe not. I don't know. They're going to drag this thing on for another 45 minutes probably. Speaking,
I don't think we're in any rush.
No, 40. Well, I'm excited now. Now the energy drink's kicking in, so I'm no longer calm. But 45 minutes from now, it'll be interesting. We're going to talk to Patrick Alvin at 5:30 via Zoom to get his reaction to whatever happens here at the draft lottery. We're also going to see Alvin talk about some other things. Maybe the team just got fined $50,000 for having some practices down at Rogers Arena. It's like, take yourself out to 8 rinks there and sneak away or something. But we'll spend more time with that on a later episode. We'll be back here later this week, I believe, to kind of wrap up the season and do another show. We're here for the draft lottery. It is happening now. Here we go. Okay, blowing it up full screen. It's time. The Vancouver Canucks.
You're blowing it up full screen.
Yeah, I'm blowing it up.
Look, man. Look. People are watching along on their own streams, and that's good. That's good. We got Kevin Weeks right now talking about it. And the one question I want to bring up again, Chris, is as we kind of watch this and have it on in the background, the one question I want to pose to you is when you posed to me at the start of the show, but I kind of glossed over it, is what would Connor Bedard mean for this organization?
Everything. You'd mean everything. He'd become the best player they have. Oh, now he's getting an interview on Sportsnet. Come on.
You gotta stop getting distracted. I swear, I have an easier time keeping my puppy's focus on me more than you do right now. Holy cow, man.
Dude. This is not the best back and forth stuff. I'm too excited to talk about this because I tell you, he's doing. You know where he's doing this interview from? Connor Bedard doing this interview from Vancouver. Okay,
Lynn Valley.
Like, come on,
Lynn Valley.
He doesn't even. He could be down at Rogers Arena picking up $50K fines tomorrow if this happens right today. Okay, it would be great. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You keep watching the show. Maybe stop taking sips of your energy drink.
Dude,
I will talk about it.
3 sips on this thing. It's empty. I just took some big gulps here.
This is basically filler for them before the game starts, so they're not doing this anytime soon.
Yeah. See, thank you, Alex. Alex with the behind the scenes stuff. He's getting us all the good deeds here. Alex has been here and done this with the draft lottery before.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while. So just take a fire to the log. We'll be okay. We'll find out soon where he's going. Okay. So the one thing I want to say, Chris, is just the Canucks take a lot of flack for roster construction, different moves they've made. I think Brian Choi, regular commenter in the chat, brought up the idea of the Detroit Red Wings winning the lottery after flipping Hronek at the deadline to the Canucks.
Shut up. Don't do any of this negative crap. Only positive vibes here.
let me get to it. Let me get to what I'm saying. What I'm saying, Chris, is everything that we've ever criticized the Canucks for, especially in particular this management regime and whoever, right? Everything that the Canucks have been criticized for with their roster construction, say, oh, they don't have enough pieces. They're not going to be able to do this. They're not going to be able to do that. None of it matters. None of it matters if they get Connor Bedard. Like, that's the thing, is if they get Connor Bedard, it's going to change everything. Like, even Adam Fantilli to a lesser degree, albeit, but Connor Bedard would mean a ton to this organization. And look, Canucks fans everywhere want him on this team, and you got to think that Canucks fan on our screen right now, Connor Bedard himself, got a fresh cut. I'm sure he went to Lynn Valley Barbershop to get that one. That guy right there, Connor Bedard, is probably hoping that he ends up a Vancouver Canuck when all is said and done. There's watch parties. They showed it on the Sportsnet live stream. Watch parties in Anaheim, Columbus, and I can't remember the third city that they showed, but there are watch parties right now. A lot of fans gathered around at these places. Now, I ask you this, Chris. Have you ever been to a Canucks watch party? Because they had one for the Juolevi draft year, and I remember that's when that really hit a lot of fans, because it started with the Vancouver Canucks were proud to select from the London Knights, of course, Olli Juolevi being the selection. Have you ever been to a draft party at Rogers Arena?
Not for the lottery, but I was at the draft at Rogers Arena. We had a little one before that. All right, here comes the numbers. Let's just forget about it. Elliot Friedman's tweeting out number 16 will be the Calgary Flames. So no movement there from 16. Obviously, they could have moved up 10 spots. They didn't. So Calgary will be selecting 16th. We are working our way down. The number is 11, folks. The number is 11. 15 will be the Nashville Predators. Bill Daly is on the screen now. Folks, breathe. Folks, everybody breathe. 15 is Nashville. How long is it? When are they going to take their first break? Probably right before Vancouver. All right, number 14, the Pittsburgh Penguins. So far, so good. Everybody believe. Everybody believe. Stay positive in the chat. Positive in the chat. Only positivity in the chat. Please, let's go. Let's go. We're rolling. We're rolling. Everything's good. Number 13, the Buffalo Sabres. Okay. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. It's all good. Just breathe. Just breathe with us, folks. Thank you, Lisa. I saw that in the chat. Just breathe. I'm working on it.
You handle draft order. I'll get to all the comments that are coming in from people.
Okay. We got so we're up to 13 at this point. Buffalo picking 13th. They're going to get a good player there. That's a good prospect pool over there.
12
Number 12
goes to the Senators.
That will be moved to Arizona, unfortunately. Here it is.
But that's
Here comes number 11. We are looking for St. Louis. We are looking for St. Louis. St. Louis, St. Louis, St. Louis. No, it's Vancouver.
And it's the Canucks.
All right.
All right. You knew it would happen. You knew it would happen. Like, we knew it. It was fun to pretend for a while. I'm taking off my chain. You feel free to do the same. You can start taking off your chains. I only bring out the ice when there's something to celebrate about.
Nope. So Vancouver will select 11th. Listen. They need to use that pick on a prospect, right? They can't move that pick. There's a lot of really solid players that you're going to see at this draft. Oh, man. I wasn't prepared for this. I was prepared for them to win. But
were you really?
Yeah, I was. I actually really did. I really thought there was a chance. There's a chance that we'd be coming here live on the YouTube. Patrick Alvin with a smile into a frown. A very good transition there for him. But we'll see what happens here. Continuing with the picks. Let's talk about it here. See who's moving up as well. I'll pull up the latest Friedman tweet. Sorry, I clocked out for a second there after Vancouver. So number 10 will be St. Louis. Number 9 will be the Red Wings. Number 8 will be the Washington Capitals. Number 7, the Philadelphia Flyers. To continue to roll through. I'm sad. I'm sure the YouTube numbers are about to drop off very hard right now.
Maybe he'll pull a Lindros or a Adam
I
Fox.
sure hope so. Yeah, well, we'll have to see who gets number 1. So the Coyotes are at number 6. So no changes, I guess, to the top 5. We have Montreal, San Jose, Chicago, Columbus, and Anaheim as the potential landing spots for Connor Bedard. We will see if we see some movement now in the top 5. This is probably where they're going to take a commercial break, unfortunately, though. But no changes to anything with the top 5. Number 5, no changes there. Montreal Canadiens coming in at number 5. Down to the final 4 now. San Jose, Chicago, Columbus, and Anaheim are remaining. One of these 4 teams that were so bad this year are going to get Connor Bedard. And then we'll chat about that a little bit. We're going to talk about where he is going to go. Number 4, San Jose. So the bottom 3 teams in the NHL who have the best odds of selecting first overall stay there. No movement until the top 3, which is so wild because everybody runs this tankathon 400 times and it never happens. I swear everyone's tankathon, the Ducks drop twice. Columbus drops down to 4. It's just, it never happens that way. But we have not seen a change to the draft lottery up until the top 3. Interesting. Yeah, I've seen Reinbacker's name a lot here in the chat. So that's the best bet. That's the best player the Canucks can get at 11, I think. Unless Matvei Michkov really drops and the Canucks are willing to do, I've said this for a while now, if you draft Matvei Michkov, it's the ultimate rebuilding move. It is the ultimate rebuilding move because the general manager drafting that player with a team who's picking that high, I don't think they're going to be there by the time Michkov gets here, probably, right? This is 3 years away from this guy getting here. It is an ultimate rebuilding move for your franchise, and I think that's what's going to make general managers a little bit scared to draft this player. It's like, he may not even get to the NHL by the time he's there, but I guess at the same time, you can look at it as like, he's always going to be in their prospect pool then, right? Like he's going to be in their prospect pool while that GM is there. So it's something for them to kind of, put their hat on and kind of just think that that's a prospect who is going to get there eventually for the team. So maybe it does help buy a general manager a little bit of time because it is a long-term move. I just can't see Vancouver doing it. I can't see Vancouver being a team that would even want to wait a couple of years and try and get competitive when you have a guy like Reinbacker, who could end up being there around 11. And listen, this is a guy who probably is going to come to the AHL. That's where he's probably going to play next season. And I could see him being in the NHL at some point next year. Like, that's how quick of a turnaround a player like Reinbacker could have. There's obviously a lot of Europeans that are available as well. Axel Sandin Pellikka is the other example, another right shot defenseman. Would not shock me to see him be the guy who ends up getting selected by Vancouver. But there are some serious options, right? There's some serious shot options. There's some centers. There's probably going to be a real good crop of wingers for the Vancouver Canucks there. And Chris Stahl's an example of like a real strong player who's local ties here, plays for their, it'll be interesting, right? There's some players here that make a lot of sense for the Canucks to pick. I just think they need to a little bit lean more towards a center or a defenseman at this point. And it's different, right? It's not about best player available so much when you're in a range where so many players are so similar. It's about who do you like the most. And in the eyes of the scouts, they're probably getting the player that they think is like the 5th or 6th or 7th best player in this draft when they go up and select at 11th. That's just how boards work, right? I'm sure everybody has the same 3 guys. If you were picking the top 3, that's who you're going to pick. But the Canucks are probably going to get their 6th or 7th guy on their list at number 11 in this draft.
Okay. I want to ask you a few questions, Chris. Bedard makes his NHL debut next year, okay? When is he UFA eligible?
Oh, man. What is it?
That's the new date. That's the new date to circle on the calendar.
No, I mean, it's true. God, it would be great if he just didn't want to go to... So it's Anaheim, Columbus, and Chicago remaining. Here's a good thing. Columbus, to me, is one of the spots where it's like, is he going to stay there after that when he's UFA? Maybe not. So the Canucks have time to rebuild. Maybe they do draft Michkov. By the time you got Michkov and Bedard coming together, that's what I'm talking about. No, I mean, yeah, I think the worst case scenario here is Chicago still. I don't think the Ducks is the worst spot. I like the jerseys at least. And we're going to root for, we're still going to root for Connor Bedard, local kid, right? What do you think?
On the note of free agency, though, you're most likely going to want to leave Columbus and come back home, right?
Yeah.
I think if you're a Canucks fan, you're hoping he has to go to Ohio here. And look, we like Connor Bedard. He's a good kid, but hey, If he gets drafted to Columbus, I think it's a higher chance that he wants to come back home. So I'm picking Columbus out of my teams here. I very much so want the Columbus Blue Jackets to get Connor Bedard. It was really anybody but Chicago, but I'd like to see Columbus
Well,
more than Anaheim for sure.
Columbus will be picking third. They drop down. It's either Chicago or Anaheim here for the number one pick, so that we finally see a change to the lottery. At least the order heading into it. Columbus is the first team to drop. They drop down to third, so that means that Anaheim or Chicago is getting one combination of Connor Bedard and Adam Fantilli. The way things are shaking down right now.
All those Blue Jacket fans can't be happy with that right now.
Yeah, I'm sure all four of them at the boss or the Applebee's down there are not happy.
They're all
so
at
Columbus
Chances Are right outside the arena.
All right, final. Let's see what happens here.
Oh my gosh, number one to Chicago. Chicago's getting Bedard.
Oh, it's rigged, right?
You've got to be kidding me. That is like,
man.
Why does it?
This is the worst possible outcome.
Why would anybody even watch this league? Like, why? Why? What's the appeal? What's the appeal of this right now? Who wins? Who wins in this?
Chicago,
apparently. Yeah, Chicago. Yes.
Yeah, this is how long have we been saying this is the worst case scenario, that he goes to Chicago, an organization that deserves the opposite of Connor Bedard. They don't deserve wins. They deserve the losses like they've been giving themselves over the past couple of years. Now Connor Bedard is going to go there. The chat is going nuts. God hates us. I hate this sport. Trash. What a trash franchise. Yeah. I agree with all of that. That sucks. This sucks. This is the worst case scenario. This is the worst case scenario for hockey, to have Connor Bedard go there. I think it's worse than Arizona. I would have rather him gone to Arizona. Man, the local kid's going to have to go play for the... Connor Bedard grew up. He was a young kid when they slayed the Dragon and beat this team. Now he's got to go play for them. Oh, what a bad start to the story that is going to be. Hey, you know what? Now that I think about it, if there is a chance he wants to hold out from a team, would it not be the Blackhawks more than anybody else? Right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean,
I know.
no, he's not gonna pull a Lindros. He was on Donnie and Dolly and said he wasn't our friends of the show. Donnie and Dolly. He said he's not pulling a Lindros. He's not gonna do that. It's not gonna happen. Don't even start with that. What we should start with is what it's gonna cost for the Canucks to trade for the first overall pick.
Yeah. Listen, you move the 11th. I don't know.
You can't make a trade
can't.
package unless he pulls Lindros. But that trade package is probably starting with Elias Pettersson. So not gonna happen, folks. Until UFA, of course, which is what 2031. When does he become a UFA? Oh no, I guess only. When does he become a UFA?
I'm just confused. Like the teams that go up in the lottery, it is pretty sus that it's like the Rangers, watching up the Blackhawks go up again. Like it's sus, man. That's all I'm saying. It's a little sus that these teams that with the big American hockey markets seem to do very well in the draft lottery over the past couple of years. It happens a lot more than you would think a lottery would allow it to happen. Like one day the luck is going to swing, is what you should believe, right? The luck can't keep swinging in big American markets' favor. It's strange, man. It's really strange the way this lottery happens, and it just year after year after year. It's a little much. It's a little much, man.
They gave themselves
really
a good chance at the lottery, right? They did the tank well this year.
Yeah, the Blackhawks absolutely did. Like they finished the season 2-7-1, as everybody can probably see if they haven't already muted or blocked the tankathon site. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's happened year after year after year. It's so weird that it happens every single year. I don't know.
Weird is one word for it. Cody Severson over at Canucks Army, really good tweet, I think. Arizona got stripped of a first-round pick for measuring players' head shapes. There's still time to strip Chicago of first overall for covering up everything that happened with Kyle Beach. And that's not really a joke, folks. Like, that was such a slap on the wrist. And I'm not going to get into all that, but just sucks. It couldn't have happened to a worse team. Like, it could not have happened to a worse team.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Lottery's over.
Yeah, I'm curious. We're getting a lot of. I want to kind of just get into the YouTube chat here and just have people just read some of the people's thoughts here from Marc Antoine Waugh. Rather Bedard to Columbus than Chicago. I hate that team. DM Payne says the evil powers at work. Karan says I'm so sad. Unplug says in all caps, unless I see bouncing balls picked, this will forever be rigged. Hell of a shot says, okay, lottery over. Have a good night, boys. Hell of a, have a good one. Brian Choi says, imagine working harder than anyone for 18 years to get drafted first overall, and your wingers are Athanasio and Radish. Yeah, tough. It's, man, I did, like, okay, in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, the Canucks aren't going to win, right? Like, trying to stay positive, put on a brave face heading into this, hoping that they would win. I was really hoping it wasn't going to be Chicago that won. That was like I said, it's the worst case scenario. And it's brutal. That's brutal. I hate the thought of seeing Connor Bedard number 98 in a Blackhawks jersey, and we're going to see it next season. That's what you have to look forward to next year, is like the big rookie coming into the NHL that you have to be excited about watching him adjust to this league, and now he's doing it in a freaking Blackhawks jersey. Come on, man. That sucks.
It's just not good. Like, it's all bad. There's no positive spin. It's not good. It's not good.
I want to look at their draft picks that they got, because they probably have been rebuilding. They're probably about to get some. Oh yeah, they got 4 picks in the second round, 2 picks in the first round, so they're going to have a ridiculous draft down there in Nashville. The Blackhawks are. Man. All right. Well, I'm done here. I need some time to cool it for this one before I say something and get in trouble.
I gotta write the news article for Canucks Army, so we'll close it out. There's nothing else to say, folks. This sucks.
We'll be back later this week. We'll do a regular show at some point. I don't have a date in mind. We'll tweet it out. I'm guessing maybe Thursday. Thursday sounds like a good day. So we'll talk about that after the show ends. But we'll be back at 1:00 later in the week. It's too bad, right? Like in the parallel universe where the Canucks landed Bedard, I hope that those people are having a good time, and I hope they're going out and enjoying it. Scott Road and 74th. I hope they're going nuts down there, having a good time in that parallel universe, but not here, not now. Bought this $26 chain from a Chinese wholesaler for no reason now. So now I'm $26 out. Yeah, Karan said it best. This is a pain stream now. Damn. I want to,
what are you going to do, Faber? What are you gonna like? I can see it's killing you. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go. You're gonna put some pork rinds in the air fryer, and what's?
Well, here's the thing. I think I got pork chops, but I also have I got butter chicken sauce, which I don't think has ever been mixed before. I'm gonna have that for dinner. Gonna have pork chops and butter chicken without any chicken. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sit on my couch, do nothing.
Would have been a way more, suspect if he landed with the Canucks, who are way back in 11th.
We wouldn't have a problem with it.
I wonder if, I'm curious, and maybe you can give your thoughts on this, Alex, but like for me, you watch the things that, listen, the Canucks haven't done a lot of great things for the organization over the past couple of years either, but they've also had some pretty bad luck. So I think that's what gave me hope, was that one day the luck is going to swing. Right? Maybe it's next year. Maybe it's Celebrini, who looks like another Vancouver Canucks fan with a chance to get it. But Alex, from the outside of the league, are we just here in Vancouver in our own bubble and think that bad luck is that bad? Like, do you see that at all from outside looking in?
Yeah, this isn't bad luck. Like, you came in at 11th and you're coming out at 11th.
I think it was last year we could see it, that no team has dropped more in the draft lottery since it became a thing than the Vancouver Canucks. So
yeah, there was one year you guys dropped and grabbed Peterson, right?
Yeah, dropped, got Pedersen, dropped, got Yolevi. Did they drop and get Vertan in that year too? Was it 3 years in a row they dropped? 3 out of 4 years they dropped? It doesn't matter at this point.
Well,
Damn, okay.
no one forced them to pick those players. No one.
Yeah.
They decided to pick those players.
But that's
All
the
right.
thing. Like, I don't want to. No. I got this. Hang on. I got something to say. I don't. First of all, good tweet from Bag Milk that I've been dying to read on air. Chicago won the lottery, but their players and ownership are pretending not to know anything about it. That from our friend over at Oilers Nation, Bagged Milk. The thing I want to say, Chris, is I don't ever want to hear that tanking doesn't work ever again. I had someone in my mentions today talk about how, I don't care what happens at the draft lottery because we fell before and we drafted Elias Pettersson because of it. That was the 1 year, and I've talked about this before, that was the 1 year the Canucks intentionally tanked at the trade deadline. That was when they traded Jannik Hansen and Alex Burrows at the trade deadline in an effort to make the team worse down the final stretch. They succeeded. The team sucked down the stretch, and they finished with the second worst record in the NHL, just behind the Colorado Avalanche. That was the only team with a worse record than the Canucks. Both teams fell. Both teams dropped out of the top 3 of that draft. The Colorado Avalanche selecting Cale Makar, the Vancouver Canucks selecting Elias Pettersson. Both teams fell. Yeah, that sucks, but it's a good reason. Like, they still tanked, and they still got those players because they tanked. I'm not going to start. I already started, but I'm done. Do you have anything else you want to say before I close it out?
No, I mean, hey, listen, this is kind of the last event before we really kick off the off season. It's going to be a different look for us here on the show. Obviously, off season we go from 10 minutes of BS off the top of the show to 20. Right? Is that the rule? Didn't we make that last year, Quads? I get to rant for 20 minutes on the start of each show. So I'm excited for that.
That's right.
We'll be cutting down the show, like you mentioned. We'll do 1 or 2 times a week. I think eventually here it would be really cool to have a week off too. At some point, we'll do that eventually. But lots of off-season conversations with some folks. We're gonna have some prospects here guesting on the show. We'll spend a lot of time about the NHL draft as well. So it is having this night go by is also, to me, a little bit more exciting because now it's like, okay, we know where the Canucks are picking. Let's really dive into the options, right? Let's really dive into the options. And shout out Lisa, regularly in the chat, says more Bert talk. Yeah, Bert's going to get more camera time here very soon on this show. So to wrap things up here, the Anaheim Ducks have the 2nd overall pick in the draft. They were the only team, them and Columbus were the only teams that dropped, and Chicago jumped them. So you're right, to your point of tanking doesn't work. Listen, the worst 4 teams in the league, the only 4 teams in the league without 20 regulation wins, they are picking with the top 4 picks in this draft. So tanking worked really well for them this year. And Chicago's push at the end of the season to go 2-7-1 and wrap things up earned them, I don't even want to say it. I hate that. I hate that so much. We'll be back on Thursday.
Sucks, Chris.
We'll be back on Thursday.
When the Leafs got Austin Matthews, I felt very similar, to the way you feel right now.
Yeah, it's just they don't deserve Connor Bedard. That's the way I look at it. This team does not deserve what this kid's going to bring to an organization. Yeah, we'll end it. I'm good. Quads, you can take us out of here. We'll be back. Let's pencil it in for Thursday at 1:00. We'll be back. We'll talk more about the 11th spot. Hey, at least it's go time now. More Reinbacker tape, more tape on Pelika. I'm going to start to really dive into some of these forwards, see if there's any of these Americans that kind of stick out to me. It's the offseason officially, I think, after this. So no more Abbotsford Canucks. We'll spend some time kind of wrapping up the season with them. I know tomorrow, by the way, I'll be on a Zoom call. I think you'll be on there as well. Ryan Johnson and Jeremy Colleton, a couple of guys, the head coach and the GM from the Abbotsford Canucks. We'll wrap up the season with them. Spend a little bit of time talking about them and some players that we liked from the AHL year. I know we got a good chance to go out there in Abbotsford, watch a handful of games. So we'll wrap things up probably on Thursday for that season and look towards the draft. I feel like that's going to be a fun thing that we'll do on the show here moving forward. A segment on the draft or a segment on a player moving forward. Appreciate everybody who came by the chat. I saw we were over 200 at some point there, so that was great. If you do have it, if you're still hanging around here and you enjoyed this, I don't know, come by again, but maybe throw a like on the video, right, Alex? Alex, you like that? You want a like on the video, Alex?
Yeah, we like likes.
There you go. Alex loves he loves those likes. So yeah, appreciate that. We'll be back on Thursday. Enjoyed everyone. Thank you for everyone that got involved in the chat as well. That was cool. It wasn't cool, but I appreciate you guys all coming by and being involved in the chat. This was not cool at all. This was the worst possible thing. This sucks. This sucks. I hate that Connor Bedard is going to wear a mother flippin' Blackhawks jersey. Okay, cut me off. I'm gonna swear soon, so I got to get out of here. I'm gonna start swearing. My poor fiance.
Okay.
I just came in here. I left her for an hour to come over here and do this show. I'm gonna come out and be so sad, mad, and every damn emotion that sucks. So I'm warning you. She's probably watching in the other room right now and knows what's coming. It's not gonna, we're gonna have to breathe. Lots of breathing, like Lisa said.
All right. We still got a job to do, so let's go do our jobs. For my co-host Chris Faber and our technical producer Alex Lard, along with intern Emil, who's been clipping behind the scenes, my name's David Quadrelli. Thank you so much for watching a sad edition of the Canucks Conversation.
Thanks for listening to Canucks Conversation. Hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode.
How about keep it to a thank you, Jim?